So former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was giving a commencement speech the other day, and he took what most people are acknowledging is a veiled shot at Donald Trump.
If our leaders seek to conceal the truth, or we as people become accepting of alternative realities that are no longer grounded in facts, then we as American citizens are on a pathway to relinquishing our freedom. A responsibility of every American citizen to each other is to preserve and protect our freedom by recognizing what truth is and is not, what a fact is and is not. When we as people, a free people, go wobbly on the truth, even on what may seem the most trivial of matters, we go wobbly on America. If we do not as Americans confront the crisis of ethics and integrity in our society and among our leaders in both public and private sector, and regrettably at times even the nonprofit sector, then American democracy as we know it is entering its twilight years.
So, this is a little annoying to me, because why don't you just say it? Like, just say it. I hate it when it's like, hey, I'm going to drop hints about what I'm trying to say, but I'm not actually just going to say it. No, fucking say it. So, you know, there were reports about how Tillerson had disagreements with Trump on some pretty high-profile issues. If I'm not mistaken, one of the issues was the Iran deal. But that could have been Mattis that it was the Iran deal. I'm not sure. Tillerson and Mattis are almost the exact same person. Tillerson was the former, CEO of ExxonMobil, and he should have never been in this position in the first place, but he turned out to be one of the more reasonable people in the administration. Mattis was, of course, in the military, but they look alike. So he had some high-profile disagreements with Donald Trump, which is understandable. But instead of like saying all like this vague speech filled with platitudes and shit, like, if we don't care about facts, we're no longer America. Really? Because we've been kind of disregarding inconvenient facts for our entire history. But that's neither here nor there. Just say it, man. Just say exactly what you're trying to say. I disagree with Donald Trump on the Iran deal. It was working and he blew it up anyway, and that's a terrible idea. Say it. So I think this is an interesting story because it gets to the heart of why there are actually a lot of people in the country who trust Donald Trump over the establishment, is because at least Donald Trump, when he fucks you over, it's to your face. You know what I mean? Like, he'll go on Twitter and he'll start ranting against people he doesn't like. And it's like, well, he's being straightforward about it. In other words, there's no dropping hints and tiptoeing around it and being cryptic in your messaging. It's just like, here's what I'm saying. I'm mad at this person. Fake news media. Sad. Failing New York Times. And so even though he's a buffoon and he's unhinged, there's a truthiness quality to it, or a raw quality to it, that you don't get from when the mainstream media counter-argues against Trump, or a guy like Tillerson argues against Trump. You get these vague fucking, hints dropped. Like whenever the media gets mad at Trump and they do the, so we care about truth and integrity and honesty and we have values and we're the fifth estate, sir. And it's like there's no grappling with their shortcomings. And there's no just saying what they're trying to say, like just making your counter-argument. It's always like a little bit of pearl clutching, like, oh, how dare you? Like, no, just fucking make your counter-argument if you're going to make your counter-argument. Be like, hey, Don, you're an idiot, and here's why. Here are the issues you're wrong about. Instead, it's like, this country was founded on the ideals of the press being... It's like, just shut the fuck up. And it's the same thing with Tillerson here. I'm going to say some words about facts. Facts are good, and I think that we should care about facts. It's like, just say it, man. Just say whatever you're trying to say. Hey, Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about the truth. He's a fucking narcissistic idiot. And then, honestly, you get more points for being straightforward, as opposed to, acting like you're above the fray. This is some shit Mitt Romney does all the time. Like, I'm above the fray. I'm not going to get in the gutter and punch. Like, just fucking respond with what you're trying to say. So that's my advice for mainstream media and people like Tillerson and, establishment folks, is like, your lack of just talking like a person really backfires on you. And to this day, they don't even realize that. And it's amazing to me. How do you not realize that? that you don't, like, the media doesn't get to just act like they're above the game. You know what I mean? And that's what they do whenever Trump says something fucked up about them. And Tillerson, you don't get to just say, you know, facts, values. Like, I hate it when, like, Tom Perez does that show all the time. We gotta lead with our values, and values are good, and we're for good things and against bad things. Fucking say what you're trying to say. God damn it. So, anyway, but having said all that, I'm sure that whatever the underlying substance is that Tillerson is not actually discussing here, he's not saying flat out, I'm sure I agree with him on whatever the substance of that thing is. But it's just too bad that he's, like, tiptoeing around it and not just saying it.